deals, brands you love, secure transactions, all in GCash. Your super life app. GLife mo na yan.
Ow! Well, that sucked. Better be safe than sorry. Now you can get protected from dengue costs. Because with Singlife on GCash, protection is available through your phone. You just open GInsure and tap cash for dengue costs. Whoa! From small to big dengue costs, we've got you covered. And you even get a free COVID-19 cover. Wow! Whatever your budget is, there's a plan for you, starting at only 300 pesos a year. You can also protect each member of your family. Get comprehensive and affordable protection from dengue costs, all through your phone.
Sa pagpatak ng ulan, sa pagsubok na dumaraan, may tapang kang harap, lilipad kang may pangarap. Lilipad kang may pangarap.
Kailan na'y di mag-iisa, susulong ka ng may kasama, may tapang kang haharap.
Lilipad kang may pangarap. Lilipad kang may pangarap. Simula na ng bukas, ngayon na, ngayon na. Simula na ng bukas, ngayon na, ngayon na. Simula na ng bukas, ngayon na, ngayon na, ngayon na.
Sabay sa pagbabago,
harapin ang bagong mundo. Simula na ng bukas, simula na ng bukas ngayon.
What if one day you wake up and you have a child? What if your child grows up to be curious? What if he gets adventurous? What if he's a risk taker? What if you are no longer around? Make sure you keep your family protected with Basic Cover Plus. Get up to 2 times your insurance benefits, your premium back, and more. All guaranteed.
Your customers have bills to pay, essentials to buy, and services to hire. Make it secure, reliable, and hassle-free for them with PayMaya. PayMaya's payment solutions have you covered because now you can accept all kinds of cashless payments any way you do business, whether it's in-store, delivery, via mobile app, on your website, or even without a website. Plus, you can monitor your business growth on a single dashboard. You're busy growing your business and serving your customers. Get empowered with payment solutions from PayMaya.
Oh, akala ko mababayaran mo yung amilya sa City Hall.
Tapos na po.
Eh, yung marriage certificate, birth certificate.
Tapos na po.
Eh, di ba? Mag-a-apply ka pa ng business permit.
Tapos na po. 10 seconds lang po yun.
10 seconds?
May paspas permit sa Valenzuela. Online permit system. Wala nang hintay-hintay.
Eh, yung pinapalaba ko sa'yo.
Hindi pa po tapos.
Dito nagsisimula ang kwento namin. Dito sa malalawak na kalsadang asfaltado, sementado at malinis. Dito sa mga pagawaan at pabrika. Dito sa Valenzuela, kung saan araw-araw marami ang handang magtrabaho. Dito sa Valenzuela, ginagawa ang marami sa inyong mga paboritong produkto mula kutson, tangke ng tubig, tansan, bote, karton at pagkain. Dito, binubuo, hinihinang, hinahalo, hinuhulma ang kinabukasan. Dito sa amin, ang edukasyon ay pinahahalagahan at sinisigurong laging nasa mataas na kalidad. Dito sa Valenzuela, hinuhubog ang kabataan. Dito sa maraming paaralan at simbahan ng Valenzuela. Dito nag-uumpisa ang paggalang sa kapwa, ang pagiging malapit sa Diyos. Dito nag-uumpisa ang husay at kasipagan. Dito nanggagaling ang hindi pagsuko. Dito sa Valenzuela, hindi mga gusaling pang-opisina ang nagtataasan, kundi mga pangarap namin. Dito, hindi napupuyat ang mga tao dahil sa bisyo at pagpapasarap, kundi dahil sa pag-aalay ng galing, talino, puso at kakayahan. Dito sa Valenzuela nangyayari ang disiplina, ang mahusay na pamamahala, at ang katahimikan at kapayapaan ay hindi lang pangarap, kundi nakikita at nararamdaman. Sa aming mga 3S centers, mararanasan ng alaga, bilis at higit sa lahat, serbisyong tapat. Madaling mag-apply at makakuha ng mga permit. Dito, mabilis ang pagproseso ng pagtayo ng inyong negosyo dahil naniniwala kami na ang inyong kabuhayan ay aming kinabukasan. Para sa amin, dignidad ng bawat Valenzuelano ang aming inuuna. Sa mga disiplina village na aming itinayo, hindi lang bahay ang binubuo, kundi buhay. At kahit hindi namin matapatan ang ingay at ganda ng iba't ibang mga lungsod, kami dito sa Valenzuela, nabubuhay sa gawa.
Good morning. I'm RJ Balinbin, your moderator for today's session on financial technology or Fintech. Fintech solutions, especially electronic wallets, are now used more often because of the pandemic. As consumers found new ways of buying items and transferring funds through the use of digital solutions, such as electronic wallets and banking applications, to name a few, Fintech has opened opportunities for consumers to receive their salaries or financial assistance more conveniently, as well as have easier access to loans, insurance, and much more. To start this conversation on meeting transformed consumer needs through Fintech, let me introduce our speakers. Now, on his third term as the chief executive of the city of Valenzuela, Mayor Rex Gatchalian's solid foundation of public service is underscored by his governance platform known as the Five Pillars of Good Governance. The concept focuses on the essential needs of every Valenzuelano in education, health, and social welfare services, housing, economic development, and livability. Under his leadership, Valenzuela City has earned various awards and recognitions for his innovations in good governance. Ladies and gentlemen, Valenzuela City Mayor Rex Gatchalian. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, and thank you for having me this morning. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be able to share Valenzuela's story.
All right, sir. Now, our second speaker is the Executive Vice President and Chief Innovation and Inclusion Officer of RCBC. He is concurrently the Chief Digital Transformation Advisor for the Yochenko Group of Companies and the founding chairman of FinTech Alliance.ph. He has over 20 years of experience in banking, telecommunications, payments, development finance, advisory, and financial technology. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Lito Villanueva.
Thank you and good morning. And thank you to all our viewers as well. Thank you.
Okay. Now, our third speaker currently serves as the Chief Data and Risk Officer and President and CEO of the Financial Services at Mint. He joined Mint in 2016 to lead the integration of data in their business decisions, aiming to empower the population with credit, insurance, and savings solutions. He did not only handle and manage the overall data lifecycle and solutions for GCash, but with his strong background in the capital markets and trading, is also the brains behind market-based pioneering products such as G Credit, GCash Save Money, G Invest, and G Score. Let's welcome Mr. JF Dare. Sir, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. It's an honor to be here today, and we're looking forward to the discussion today.
Now, our fourth speaker is an Assistant Vice President and Head of Insular Life's or InLife Business Project Management Office. He is ITIL Foundation certified in IT Service Management. Being in the IT industry for 18 years, he's been involved in training, consulting development, testing, and system implementation. His 9 years of experience in the academe involved teaching IT-related computer and mathematics subjects both for undergraduate and graduate programs, and performing research work, curriculum development, and related matters. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Roji Nino. Hi, Sir Roji. Good morning.
Magandang araw, everyone. Thank you for having me here, and I'm really very excited to share with you the initiative of InLife in the field of of the technology, the financial technology. Thank you.
Now, our fifth speaker is the head of Strategy 3 Division at Ipsos. He has over 25 years of experience in managing and developing a diverse range of manufacturing and service sector businesses in Europe, the United States, and Asia. He currently heads the advisory team in Southeast Asia and the implementation of various studies focusing on market feasibility, market entry and growth, competitive landscape, strategic planning, and implementation management. Let's welcome Mr. Kiranjit Singh.
Hello, good morning. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to have an exchange of ideas today. Hopefully, I can bring a regional perspective to the situation in Philippines.
So, our sixth speaker is PayMaya's managing director and head of enterprise business and sales. He has over 20 years of experience in the payments, ecosystem, and merchant development industry, which has earned him a deep understanding of the company's business needs. He also has an extensive network within the payments industry and strong working relationships with different marketplace enablers, schemes, logistics, technology providers, cross-border partners, regulators, and key business accounts across several other industries. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mar Lazaro.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity.
All right. Now our seventh speaker is the Chief Technology Officer of Singlife Philippines. He leads a team of experts in the successful integration of insurance technologies to offer customers meaningful protection products in a fully digital environment. Prior to joining Singlife, he worked with various tech companies as a senior leader for systems engineering, digital innovations, and data protection, among others. He's also an entrepreneur involved in different startup initiatives focused on emerging technologies. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Zaid Tolentino.
Good morning, and thank you for having me and giving me the opportunity to share the story of Singlife Philippines and how we disrupt the insurance space. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. Now for our Q&A, let's have all our speakers back on screen. So, my first question, gentlemen, months after the now normal has taken place, where are we now? Where is the Philippines right now in terms of financial inclusion? Have we seen improvements so far, or are we lagging behind? I think perhaps we can start with Mr. Lito Villanueva of Fintech Alliance.
Hi,
Sir.
good morning. Thank you for that question. I think this is a very exciting moment for all of us, especially in the industry, because again, the idea or the aim of the government, practically all stakeholders, is really to push for an inclusive digital finance, a sustainable digital economy. But here's the deal. In the recent 2019 Financial Inclusion Survey, that was published by the BSP, it was noted that the Philippines has the lowest banking penetration in Southeast Asia. It was also estimated that the number of unbanked Filipino adults may reach about 551.2 million. But we have seen this as a welcome challenge for the fintech industry to address, especially now that the going digital became the lifeline of the ordinary Filipinos to survive the pandemic and to continue on with the so-called now normal, as you said a while ago. And though this may seem to be the enormous challenge, the PSP's vision of a digital and financially inclusive Philippines has always been within reach, especially with current fintech innovations and solutions being implemented nationwide. In fact, the BSP, as you all know, has adopted a bold vision under the leadership of Governor Diokno, and it's called the Digital Payments Transformation Roadmap, aiming to have at least 50% of financial transactions to be in the form of digital and 70% of adult Filipinos to be part of the formal financial system by end of 2023. For example, we have seen how 2020 became the year when e-wallets, of course we have here GCash and PayMaya, and cash-like transactions became part of the norm. And this is supported by the current 2020 BSP Financial Inclusion Dashboard data, which reported that more and more Filipinos are embracing fintech solutions for different financial services with about 61.6% growth, or that would approximately be around 14.2 million Filipino users on active e-money wallet accounts, and a total usage and transaction growth of about 50.1% for inflows and about 10.8% for outflows. The data shows that digital financial inclusion is making significant inroads in terms of market penetration and usage. This insight is important because what we are doing here is help shape the Filipinos' consumer and financial behavior towards digital finance and cash-like transactions.
Thank you, Mr. Lito. Anyone who would like to add to the insights of Mr. Lito?
I can jump in. Hi.
Yes,
So
certainly.
I think my experience with cash payments goes back long ways when I was working in the cash in a business of monetary policies and so on. And many years ago, I think about 15 years ago, we were supplying coins in Philippines, right? Your 1 peso, 5 peso coins, and so on. And those days, among all the countries in Southeast Asia, Philippines had the highest circulation of coins and so on. And there have been really efforts those days to digitalize from cash payments to digital payments and so on. But it has been slow for many reasons. But so I'm happy to see in the last 3-4 years and so on, both from the private enterprises with their innovation solutions and so on, and also by the push of BSP, there's been a lot of progress in terms of financial inclusion. I think BSP has mentioned that they overachieving their targets. Hopefully by 2022, they will achieve the target of 70% of adult Filipinos being banked. But what is important is not only statistics, but we should have meaningful financial inclusion. So when I say meaningful financial inclusion means beyond just transactions, but also the ability of these Filipinos to utilize certain financial tools for them to for personal growth, for personal wealth, or even for their businesses and so on. So I think we have made a lot of strides in getting them into the system. But now the next step is making them to be savvy and also being them able to go beyond the basic financial inclusion, but also getting them to be much more the tools and the solutions available to them to grow their wealth and also to rise to use certain instruments which people like us and you and me can utilize at the moment.
Thank you for explaining the meaningful financial inclusion, Mr. Kiranjit. And now, I think Mayor Rex Gatchalian has something to add.
I probably am the only public sector person in this forum. So giving it a perspective from a public sector point of view, before we can get everybody, at least for government transactions, everybody to start using fintech in government transactions, the main government must come up with an enabling environment. DTI has been very aggressive in getting all their LGUs digitalized, meaning you don't have to go traditionally to City Hall to get your permits, to pay your transactions. You can tie up with vendors like PayMaya or e-wallets like PayMaya, GCash to transact it online. There's the sudden move from doing traditional over-the-counter transactions to actually going online. Actually, case in point, Valenzuela, we've been doing this for a long, long time, even before the pandemic started. We're the only LGU that has an end-to-end solution, online solution. So meaning anything you need for City Hall, you can transact it online and you can use your traditional wallets like PayMaya, GCash to pay for your bills or your permits. But again, it's still a long way to go. A lot of LGUs still need to migrate towards that direction to wean itself off the traditional over-the-counter transactions. Because before we can make it inclusive, LGUs or government agencies must be able to provide that platform. But there's a gradual migration, especially in Metro Manila. You can see a lot of LGUs starting to migrate from traditional over-the-counter transactions for government to online portals and online websites.
Thank you, Mayor Rex Gatchalian. And I think Mr. Zaid Tolentino has something to add too.
Yeah, in the context of life insurance, there's still a wide gap between the insured and uninsured, or the uninsured population in the Philippines. The latter is composed of mainly middle-income families in search of protection products that fit their financial needs, can easily be adjusted whenever their needs change, and have the least impact on their budget. Technology is what will make all this possible for them. And not just technology for the sake of automating manual processes, but the right selection and strategic application of these technologies to deliver a next level customer experience in savings and protection. So I think it goes together now. It's not just the financial side or the banking, not and separate with the insurance. I think it should go both ways to have a fully inclusive financial capability in the Philippines. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Zaid. Any hands there?
Sorry, just to comment lang to
Yeah, sure.
what Mayor Rex said a while ago, no? And I think we would like to comment, no? From the fintech industry, we would like to commend Valenzuela City, no? Under the leadership of Mayor Rex, and that is really true. No? That is really validated that even prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, even prior to the ECQ and all of these different levels of quarantines in the country. I mean, Valenzuela has been actually the pioneer or the trailblazer when it comes to electronic payments, within an LGU. And I think that's why congratulations, Mayor Rex, for spearheading that and pushing for that digital transformation in public service. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Now, I think we can hear some more from Mr. JF Dara of GCash.
Yes, thank you, RJ. Now, I just wanted to share with the audience and the panelists a few statistics that we've seen in GCash. And in particular, first, there was a report from Temasek that showed that already in Southeast Asia, most countries are already having digital payment solutions that reach over 50% of the transactions. But that in the Philippines, we're still getting there. But what was encouraging, though, to see from that same report is that the Philippines was one of the countries where digital payments has grown the most. And that report, by the way, is out of 2020, right? And since then, we've also even grown even further, right? But it was interesting to see that just in 2020, Q3 2020, I believe, around the growth in the Philippines was that we saw in digital payments was 53%. Which is absolutely astonishing, right? You can compare that to countries like Thailand, for example, where it grew only by 5%. And we see it. We see it at GCash in our everyday life. We see the user base growing exponentially. The GTV last year, we've broken a historic milestone where over 1 trillion pesos was processed through GCash. And in 2021, we're already trending to more than doubling that number, astonishing number. So it's incredible to see that. We see also, to reflect a little bit on what was said a little bit earlier, that now that over a third of our users are using financial services as well. So GCash now goes beyond the wallet, right? The tool that you use to purchase and to transfer money, but it's really now embedding these financial services and making these financial services accessible to our base, so much so that now over a third of the active base is using our financial services, credit, savings, investments, insurance, and it's absolutely heartwarming, right, to see that. We even had some statistics with people from GSave who are opening GSave account that more than a third of these users, for them, it was the first bank account that they ever had, right? So it's also fantastic to see that these statistics. And another one, I think that was also displayed briefly earlier. We really see the adoption of digital, even in the informal and social sellers. We have, from our count, over 2.5 million merchants and social sellers on the platform, on GCash platform today, right? So it's really amazing to see that people are adapting to GCash, and even especially during the pandemic, how convenient it is, right, for these users and their clients, right, to be able to transact safely, cashlessly, without even ever seeing that person and getting, the things that you need delivered to your house. It's fantastic to see that this ecosystem, right, is alive and growing on in GCash.
All right, thank you, Mr. Darren. Now, we would also like to hear from PayMaya if he sees the same thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. Lazaro.
Thank you, thank you. We share the view with the BSP that we are on track to achieve our financial inclusion target of enabling around 70% of all adult Filipinos with financial account by 2023. We are committed to make this happen. First, through our digital payments business. Second, as we introduce more innovative financial services such as lending, savings, and so on. I'd like to share our experience in PayMaya as it validates this discussions in the positive development that we've actually heard from the other panelists. For example, the number of registered users using our consumer platforms doubled in 18 months to over 38 million Filipinos. Last year, during the pandemic as well, based on geographic location, registrations from outside Metro Manila accounted for about 62% of the new registrations. Meanwhile, we also saw growth in users from the Gen X and the Boomers demographics. Based on data, baby boomer and Gen X users increased by about 65% and 63%, respectively, during the pandemic season, which started March 2020. Now, to ensure that no one gets left behind, we are serving even those without a smartphone, as they can go to our network of over 45,000 Smart Padala agent touchpoints, which is very critical, not only for our own subscribers, but to all other people who want to be included in the ecosystem. For us, for financial inclusion to take root, we need to build everyday use cases. This means equipping various industries and enterprises of all types and sizes, including government, as mentioned by Mayor a while back, with inclusive payments that can accept all forms. Mayor Gatchalian mentioned a lot of payment modalities, including e-wallets, cards, and QR, which we, by the way, are powering. Lastly, financial inclusion for us is not a competition. Financial inclusion is a national agenda, at least for PayMaya. That's all. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for mentioning that, Mr. Lazaro. You also mentioned, you actually mentioned that we should be equipping sectors with solutions, but what else? This is my second question. What else should be done in order to make fintech solutions more accessible to more Filipinos, and how long can we wait for this to be realized? For example, from LGUs, what does it take for the ayuda distribution to be effectively applied, not only in certain cities, but across other cities and towns? Perhaps
Actually,
we can start with. Sure.
I thought you were referring that to me, sorry. Actually, yan sa ayuda, we really have to look at it as a multidimensional issue. It's not just about having everybody not everybody getting a cell phone and doing it that easy. I have to remember a lot of the masses, yung mga lower economic, from the lower economic strata, they don't have smartphones. We saw that in the last ayuda distribution. even if the DSWD tried to go online or digital, marami hindi nakakatanggap because they are using prepaid plans or they are borrowing cell phones. So some of them don't even have digital smartphones. So some of them analog rin. So doon pa lang nagkakaproblema na ibig sabihin even if you get a notice that you are supposed to go na to the payment area or the outlet, hindi nila nakukuha yung message. Number two, it also boils down to making sure that the country moves forward with the national ID system kasi there's a lot of people who are not yet captured. Their data aren't captured by the databases of NEDA, PSA, or the local government units. Maraming tao na walang ID to begin with, so they're not really captured at all. So even if you're trying to locate them, you won't be able to find them except physically. Number three, we also have to go back to connectivity. Sadly, kami, Metro Manila na kami, even our pass permit system always is at the mercy of the connectivity of the service providers. I'll put it bluntly, even if they're a sponsor of yours, Globe, Smart, Converge, the rest, they really have to shape up, no? City Hall as an epicenter to disperse all these ayuda, all these social amelioration. Problema, during the ECQ itself, we had problems with our own connectivity. So we couldn't upload or download certain data or certain notices. So it's a multifaceted approach, that problem that has to be dealt with by the government sector, the private sector. It's an all-out effort to make it more inclusive, to migrate everybody to online platforms.
Thank you, Mayor Rex. Now, from other guys, who would like to add to that? Yes, sir. Sir, you're muted. Can we unmute?
Okay, I think can you hear me now? Okay.
Yes.
Can in reaction to what Mayor Rex said, no, just to I think comment on that. I mean that's really true. No? In fact, when the national governments push for the massive distribution of the social amelioration program or SAP, no, this would be the emergency cash subsidy intended for the 18 million families, no, that have been impacted heavily by COVID-19. I mean, I would totally agree with Mayor Rex because that has been the issue on ground, no? Because not everyone would have mobile devices or smartphone devices at that, and some may not even have access to data. So that's why, just to let everybody know, for example, we had the collaboration with the Department of Social Welfare and Development. In fact, the top six financial service providers, no? I mean, PayMaya, GCash, StarPay, Union Bank, RCBC, Discartec, and Robinsons Bank. No? For example, in the case of RCBC, we had to deal with beneficiaries who do not have mobile phones, right? So that is actually a reality on ground. But I think to answer the question that was posed earlier, I think it is a matter of how we can address the barriers, no? And how to immediately be able to come up with innovative interventions. And one of which is the Executive Order 127 that was signed recently by President Duterte, that would now allow broadband internet or broadband satellite to be placed across rural areas that have no access to data services, no? Because it is also right that not all municipalities, no, or LGUs in the Philippines, especially in far-flung locations, would have connectivity at this stage, no, as we speak right now. So I think that's one issue on connectivity, on having that telecommunications infrastructure in place. And in fact, we have a discussion with the BSP coming as a fintech alliance, no, as an industry. Because note that Fintech Alliance is a trade organization across all fintech and digital players in the Philippines that contribute over 90% of fintech initiated transactions in the Philippines today. So the whole thinking is on how we can come up as an industry to be able to help government really push for digital Philippines, no? And that is one way of doing it, right? So and thanks to the national government for doing that. Second is definitely what was discussed or mentioned by Mayor Rex about the massive deployment or massive rollout of the national ID system for PhilSys, where even the Philippine Statistics Authority, which is the implementing agency under NEDA, to be able to register 70 million Filipinos by end of 2021, and that will definitely be a good plus for all the unbanked and underserved Filipinos to be onboarded into the formal financial system, because it is now a mandate from the BSP that would now allow Filipinos who just have the national ID or PhilSys to be allowed to be onboarded, no? To have a bank account or an e-wallet account. So these are some of the things that the industry, together with the government, the regulators, are really pursuing and pushing hardly to make sure that we can realize that goal of having a sustainable and robust digital economy. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tolentino. No, I think Mr. Dare of GCash has something to add.
Sure. Yes. Actually, the question was in two parts, right? One about how do we also bring more Filipinos, right, to access finances, right, and doing digital financial services. And from our perspective at GCash, we do believe also that it is kind of a national imperative. It's not a one-man show, for sure. And for that, collectively, we have to earn more the trust of Filipinos when it comes to digital finances. As we know, the Filipino economy is still relying heavily on cash because a lot of people still don't trust the digital channels, right? They don't feel like they have money when it's only a number on an app, right? Compared to bills and coins in their hands. So we have to earn that trust and really show them that digital means of payments are actually more secure than cash. Cash can be lost, right? Cash, a lot of things can happen to cash, and it's very costly also for the society. Not only that, but also we always bring up to Filipinos that it's also more convenient, right? And you have access to so many use cases. And as it was already mentioned, right, you can soon pay for your LGUs, pay for your taxes, pay for a lot of things, right? On top of ordering food and all these things, you can really do all your life now digitally. The tools are there, right? And it's really for people to adopt that technology. Now, on the second part of the questions, when it comes to LGU, yes, there are a lot of challenges in terms of connectivity and in terms of people who having access to simply like a smartphone or a phone, if at all. But for the ones who do, I'm really excited to share with the audience today that last year and this year continuously, GCash has made a lot of partnerships, right, with local LGUs. And last year, we were able to disburse over 16 billion pesos to over 2 million Filipinos through these partnerships, right, with LGUs. And we were estimated that this would have taken 952 days to do physically, not only long waiting lines, but also, of course, higher risk of propagating the virus. And all of this was done, or in a matters of weeks, right? When done digitally. So we can, it's I guess, digital can be part of the solution, right? It can help the people who can, have access to the digital channels, and then it's a complementary kind of solution, right, to helping in the crisis.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Dare. Now, I think Mr. Kiranjit Singh has also
Sure.
another point to add. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
so I think for a country like Philippines, where you have differences in terms of economic development and also even telecommunications, right? Not everyone has smartphones, also, right? And a lot of Filipinos are still using prepaid rather than postpaid kind of services and so on. So while digital inclusion can be a solution, but it cannot be the only solution for a country and the stakeholders in Philippines. You will still need to have the basic traditional physical means of getting more Filipinos to be financially inclusive. So I was looking into the BSP statistics and so on. I was very happy to see that they have come up with a basic deposit account, BDAs they call it, and you can see the take up and the growth rates of BDAs actually has been quite encouraging and so on. So I guess I would like to summarize by saying that yes, digital tools and means and so on can be catalyst and can be one of the solutions, but it cannot be the only solution for a country like Philippines.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Singh.
Yeah.
Who else would like to add to that? All right. I think we can move on to the next question. Now, we see that even if banking and retail are expected to be, a mix of physical and digital in the now normal, are we seeing consumers using fintech more often? Are we also expecting the same direction for insurance because of the emergence of insurtech platforms? I think we can hear first from Mr. Nino, Sir Roji of InLife.
Yes. Yeah, okay. I agree because InsurTech is an extension of financial technology in the new market, right? It is considered a new fintech application which heavily touches the consumer convenience and experience from creation, distribution, and administration of insurance business. In our in-life company, to strengthen our network, we have implemented different partnership for this digital platform. To date, we have partnership with Maria Health, wherein you can buy our in-life healthcare products in their platform. And for in-life, we are already in Lazada and UBP Insurance Marketplace. There are upcoming fintech partnership that InLife is currently working on, the likes of GLife and GCash, Quick Insure, City Savings Affiliate Program, to name a few initiatives which depicts that we an active player of this digital ecosystem.
Thank you, Mr. Nino. Now, how about from Singlife Philippines,
Yeah, I'd like to
Mr.
add to
Zaid?
that. Yeah,
Yes.
like everyone else pointed out, and on the insurtech side of things, insurtech cannot exist without fintech. You need both initiatives working together to disrupt the life insurance industry and deliver protection products that are truly digital. Singlife, for example, was born out of these technologies. Our use of blockchain, our API-driven approach, cloud, and fintech enable us to make life insurance totally mobile first, with automated efficiencies to fit customers' needs, budget, and desire for protection products to always be on hand. Like the first product we launched, Cash for Dengue Cost with a free COVID-19 cover, can be bought in less than 5 minutes via G-Insure on the GCash app. And managing policies, filing of claims, along with supporting documents, and securing payouts are just as easy. Everything can be done online and in real time without having to leave the app. This level of convenience, combined with affordability and comprehensiveness of the product made possible by said technologies, are what will change the way people look at and experience life insurance.
All right.
Yeah, I think I would like to answer that question that
Yeah, sure, sir.
you posed earlier. I think because I'm wearing a different hat today, in this particular session as chairman of the FinTech Alliance, representing the digital and fintech industry, where most of our for GCash, PayMaya are and of course InLife are members, and I think to put it in some context, to put it to context, I think this is where financial symbiosis comes into play. I call that symbiosis, the productive union of digital acceleration and collaboration among fintech and industry players. And I think this is really more about what the BSP has now been pushing and promoting, the recently released circular on open finance framework, and in partnership with government regulators and consumers. And symbiosis, or this symbiosis that I would like to call it, is is really a collaboration with all of the stakeholders. And we recognize the importance of fintech in enriching our customer experience and promoting seamless, frictionless banking for all, 24 by 7. And even in fact, World Bank has been pushing for that in what they call the universal access to finance for everyone. So as more and more customers migrate to digital, which is precisely the banks and the national goals aspiration, we recognize the need for technology to facilitate and accommodate such an increase in demand. Because of this, we believe technology can help promote synergy amongst all of these players in the industry, More automation is necessary to lessen or manage human contact, which is a banking setup that industry must be able to implement moving forward if we are to make our business pandemic proof. And this is also true for other fintech products and services, such as digital loans, marketplaces, and insurtech. And of course, we have here our colleagues in the insurtech landscape. We may integrate these services into our fintech innovations as a kind of one-stop shop, no? And we've seen a lot of these implementations in the market today. And just to give you some context, just to give you some statistics, no? Shaping market and consumer behavior to use digital payments is also important if we want to achieve a fully digital coinless and cash light Philippines. No, in recent BSP data, it shows that only 12% of mobile phone owners, especially those in the upper class in Metro Manila and Visayas, and the younger segment, use their mobile phones to perform financial transactions. For the remaining 88% who are not using their mobile phones for financial transactions, the primary reasons cited are number one, lack of awareness, second, lack of trust, third, weak or lacking mobile signal, and of course, lastly, the preference for branch or ATM transaction. But to help improve this scenario, an expansive and grassroots program on financial education and digital literacy must be launched. Fortunately, the Congress has started hearing on the committee level specific bills that will help deepen the roots of financial inclusion and education in the country. These bills include House Bill number 7452 on promoting rural financial inclusion and literacy, and Senate Bill 1764 or the Use of Digital Payments Act, both of which are aimed to help realize the BSP's push and initiatives as reported in the recent BSP Digital Payments Transformation Roadmap. And I think all our colleagues here in this panel are one in this objective of providing a robust and sustainable digital Philippines. Thank you.
Thank you for mentioning the financial education, Mr. Villanueva. And I think Mr. Zaid Tolentino has some more insights to add to that. Sir?
Oh, actually, I already. Ah, okay. Wait. Are we on question three?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So sorry. Entering a market where life insurance penetration is low, but the mobile ownership and internet usage is high, it was clear to Singlife Philippines that the fastest way in would be to partner with existing digital platforms. So we built a plug and play solution that only needs to connect to the basics, the partner's KYC data, and the payment platform. This plug and play solution, or what we call our microservices portal, houses all our protection products and can be integrated in the front end of any digital platform. This setup allows a seamless user flow between two platforms without having to switch screens. Moreover, it grants customers extended access to services commonly not offered by incumbents within the same environment, such as policy management, claims filings, and payment. The core InsurTech platform, like you see now, is powered by blockchain, allows us to have a secure environment in hosting transactions. So for any incoming partner, we simply create a partner node and embed our portal within their app so they can offer our protection products to their customers. Like our first digital partner with GCash, we embedded our portal into their app and together launched the No Fuss protection products, starting with cash for dengue costs with the free COVID-19 cover, and was soon followed by our income protection suite. We believe that through this tech initiative, millions of people who are still uninsured or underserved can be given immediate access to protection products that can fit their needs, budgets, and are always on hand. This is the digital experience end to end.
Thank you for the presentation, Mr. Zaid Tolentino. And anyone there, feel free to add your insights to the question on Insert Tech. Okay, so now in terms of, one of you has already mentioned the financial education. In terms of financial education, again, what do you observe should be the priorities of our economic leaders and private players? I think Mr. Lazaro of PayMaya can start.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. So, our government, led by BSP, is working together with private sector now to foster financial literacy, especially to the segments of our population that need it most. At PayMaya, we prefer to call it financial education, no? Because it is a continuous and long-term initiative. We believe the most effective way would be to uh, integrating financial education in the basic curriculum of all students, and including it as well, as part of our workforce programs. No? First, as part of the curriculum. No? It builds a financially ready mindset of our youth. No? What great is that our Gen Zs are very receptive, no, about financial education. They are very tech savvy. They want their money to work for them. Everything. Tatalino nila ngayon, no? The young ones, no? As part of the workforce programs, it can also be integrated in employee activities, no? Including orientations. No? We require companies to conduct occupational safety. We should also encourage financial education in line with the employer programs related to loans, social security, and related financial matters. Today, digital can be effectively used as it is pervasive, multi-audience, evergreen, and expansive in reach. Now, government and industries can use digital more effectively. Now, for us, PayMaya financial education is an important initiative for both our employees and our users. No? This is embedded already in our users' journey, from account opening to providing them information on how to protect their account, no, through our platforms, the PayMaya app. Also included the PayMaya websites, SMS, social media, among others, to ensure that they are fully informed. Now, we also work with government entities such as BSP, DTI, SSS, Pag-ibig, in educating the public. These days, we conduct or participate in at least two financial education webinars a week. For example, this afternoon we have a webinar with BSP's Legazpi branch, to teach employee and their stakeholders about how to use their PayMaya accounts. No? For our MSMEs, naman, okay, we have the Sulong Negosyo program where we provide social sellers with the right tools to boost their businesses. We provide them webinars where they can actually learn useful tips for running a business in the e-commerce space. No? This program is implemented together with DTI and Go Negosyo. Of course, DTI has been very, very supportive in all of these activities. No? Um, we are their regular, as mentioned a while back, partner at their weekly webinars for business owners or aspiring business owners. No? For DTI, we are a partner as their ongoing sessions of control plus bis reboot, now for regional area. No? Now, for our government partners, we have the LEAD, no, the LGU, the local government. I mean, no, we have the LEAD program, which is the LGUs embracing our and accelerating digitalization, no, where we work together with the local government units, as mentioned by Mayor a while back, to conduct financial education on ground, no, to teach their stakeholders such as tricycle drivers, small sellers, tenderas in their public markets, and sari-sari store owners, among others, about digital payments. It's a lot of opportunities, and it underlies why financial inclusion is a collective effort. I agree with what Mayor Gatchalian mentioned. If we want this to be really successful, it needs all the stakeholders, no, to be part of this education.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Lazaro. Now, for InLife, Mr. Nino, I think you have something to add, sir.
Yes, I agree with Mr. Lazaro, but it is also necessary upon us business leader to advocate and educate our fellow Filipinos on the importance of insurance as well. Our dual transformation strategy, setting to regenerate our core business while building a business model for the coming days in life. Our priorities for tech enablement were strengthen the core and infuse innovation in the systems and processes that we implement. And we also include our strategy to be part of the ecosystem as we continuously partner with different digital platforms to help expand our markets.
Thank you, Mr. Nino.
Yeah,
And
I think just to
Mr.
add,
Rex. Yeah, yeah, sure, sir.
sorry. So I think just to add to what the others panelists said a while ago. Again, speaking from the industry perspective, no, I think I only have three items here to mention in response to your question. I think number one is integration of lessons on digital finance and fintech in our current basic education curriculum. I think this was also mentioned by Mar a while ago because it is crucial to establish partnerships with key agencies like the Department of Education or even TESDA or even CHED, no, to push for a curriculum-based integration of digital financial education in basic education, particularly on the accounting, business management, or the EBM and the general academic strands of our current senior high school program. By doing so, we are helping the younger demographic in the country not to only acquire the skills they need to manage their personal finances, but also to reinforce their understanding and valuing of fintech innovations and tools that are already present in the digital finance ecosystem. Second is the effective strategic communications through the use of alternative and digital media. Through the use of these alternative channels, the industry can launch programs that will empower our current customers and other prospective users to become more financially literate. These programs may take the form of collaborations with social media giants and key influencers. And practically, this is already happening right now. No? Production of digital-based broadcast programs or podcasts advocating for financial education, or the publication of digital magazines that could easily be shared in different online platforms. And lastly, maximization of social media reach and platforms. No, by doing so, this will definitely be in a way disruptive and viral, given the digital ads and content that we're now seeing across all social media platforms, that can make financial education and digital literacy fun and exciting. Nowadays, it is important to engage our audience using the language and style that they can easily understand and relate to. Also, through different social media content, we can strengthen consumer protection and awareness by making basic fraud management principles more digestible for our target audiences. Because again, while we are advancing our technology so far as banking and finance are concerned, again, we also have to be mindful of how we can further promote consumer protection and consumer education against fraudulent transactions or what we call the cyber crimes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Villanueva. Now, I'm curious what Mr. or Mayor Gatchalian would say for Valenzuela City. Do you have related initiatives, sir, on financial education? What do you think of it?
Unfortunately, we leave that to the private sector to do. There are cooperatives in the city running those. As mentioned, DepEd's curriculum already incorporates that. But again, let me just emphasize: you can teach everybody, at least for the realm of the public sector, you can teach everybody to go digital, to go online, to use all these fintech solutions. But if the local governments won't migrate to that also, then mafo-frustrate lang natin sila. You have to remember everything pretty much starts with the local government units when it comes to setting up a business, coming up with permits. If your very first interaction with the local government is manual, then it pretty much negates all these trying to make them financially fintech savvy, trying to make them more digital savvy. Nandiyan na yan eh. In fact, for the younger generation, you don't even need to teach them. They actually do know how to use digital solutions. Yes, we may have to embark on a more aggressive financial literacy program, but it's all there. But local governments must join the disruption. Local governments or national government agencies must also migrate towards that direction. See, disruption used to be part of the realm lang ng private sector, but we have to wake up and start realizing that as our population matures, especially since now we're weaning them off traditional modes of financial financial literacy or financial platforms, we have to make sure that at the very onset, if they're an entrepreneur wanting to set up a business, local governments must have that enabling environment that will showcase that look, LGUs themselves are pursuing fintech solutions. So yung pinag-aralan mo or what you were taught to learn or to win off, you have to is a worthwhile endeavor. Literally, you have to remember everything pretty much starts with the LGU level. Any single permit comes from the LGU, and if they go through the manual process of it, then they get disgruntled. It's like starting a demand without the supply in place.
Hmm. Exactly, sir. Now I think Mr. Singh of Ipsos has something to add as well.
Sure. I think I think as we get a new generation to be more financially inclusive, we need to also educate them on the do's and don'ts of how you manage your accounts. If your wallet is a mobile phone, it could be simple like if you're going to repair your phone, make sure that the data is protected. You don't want it to be misused. Don't simply share information. Across Southeast Asia, you're seeing right now the rise of scams or mule accounts. There's the new generation of financially inclusive do not know what they should share with strangers and not so on. So you don't want them to be falling to prey to unscrupulous players out there. So the financial literacy should also emphasize on the do's and don'ts of sharing information with strangers and others. I guess that's my short point
All
there.
right. Yeah, great. Now, Mr. JF Dare of GCash. Sir.
Yes, no, very, very interesting points. Indeed, when I had prepared for that question, I had a very long answer in 4 steps, etc. But I think almost everything was said. But I just wanted to add just one thing that is an interesting also angle to like accelerating right financial education, financial literacy, is simply by making it more accessible, right? There's no better way to learn a new skill or something by doing it, right? You can learn for a month to study how to play soccer, but you'll never know how to play soccer until you kick a ball, right? So that's also at Gcash, we're obsessed with making the product very accessible, very affordable, right? So for example, in investment, you can start investing with 50 pesos. Try, right? Try. It's a money market fund. You don't know exactly, you're unsure, you're intimidated. No, now 50 peso is no longer intimidating. Before, it used to be that you need at least 5,000 or 10,000 pesos to start investing. Now it's 50 pesos, right? Even savings, right? A lot of institutions require a minimum balance. So it's kind of a commitment now for people to start saving because, oh, if I start saving, I have to all of a sudden maintain 3,000 peso, in my account. Well, here, again, our saving product is do whatever you want with your money, but start saving, right? Like, if you need to go down, your balance needs to go down to zero, that's okay. Just start saving again next week, right? So we really try to do that. And same with insurance, right? The partnering with Singlife, trying to remove all of these barriers, making the insurance product understandable, it's easy, right? It's dengue insurance, right? If you have dengue, will be covered, right? Simple. And it takes, as mentioned earlier, it takes only less than 5 minutes to purchase, right? And it's very affordable, right? So we always try to do that, and it's same with lending as well. But I won't explain too much. But just make it available for the users with small amount and let them try, let them learn, right?
All right, thank you, Mr. Dare. Now, my next question can be a bit more personal, as it is about your companies do. What fintech projects did your company embark on or will pursue to better serve your customers? I think we can start with Mr. Zaid Tolentino of Singlife.
Hey, thanks. Yeah.
Yes.
Continuing from what I shared earlier about the microservices portal, GCash partnership was our first digital network partner, and we are actively looking for partners. Partners that can plug and play with us with their KYC APIs and payment APIs. Are welcome to collaborate. It's also important that the partner believes in what we believe in, putting customers in control of their finances through technology, offering meaningful benefits at a fair price, and delivering an exemplary customer experience every time.
Yeah, you mentioned partnership, but what do you look for in a potential partner in order to make life, insurance more accessible to the uninsured or underinsured population?
Yeah, ideally there should be a significant overlap between our target market and their customer base. And like I said, a partner that can plug and play with us with their KYC and payment APIs, because our portal can be easily embedded in any front end of any digital platforms, like we did with GCash.
Mhm. All right, thank you, Mr. Tolentino. Mr. Roji of InLife.
Okay, in our end, we continuously plan on how to cope up with this COVID-19 situation by adopting the benefits of the financial technology. With our partnership with Lazada, we immediately beef up our in-life current roster of packages to remain ahead of our competitors who do not have similar offerings. That is make us unique and a valuable option. We've added also, we've implemented as well the GCash, thank you, and the other payment gateway through EasyPay facility. As of January of 2021 up to June, we've collected around almost 100 million, covering around estimated 21,000 transactions. We expand our facility in InLife by implementing the Dragon Pay as one of our InLife payment gateways with the objective of improving our customer experience and increasing persistency. Actually, with our partnership with Union Bank as well, we efficiently transfer our policy proceeds to customer account using the application interface protocol. And also taking the opportunity of our partnership with this Union Bank, we also implement and upload our in-life products by taking advantage of their marketplace using our API capabilities. This is just a few initiatives that we have in our in-life, but we continuously partner with our fintech companies, provide suitable products and services in the midst of this pandemic, and expanding our payment gateway. In the core of pandemic, we embody the culture that being agile, customer focused, sharpening our skills, and having open mindset to open to change. And also, with our journey with this financial technology, we continuously move, give exceptional service to our future and existing in-lifers.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Nino. And
Yeah.
who else would like to add?
Yeah,
I think,
I would like to share,
sure, sir.
share, but because to answer your question, this is to share this time around what RCBC has been doing as well in terms of our contribution towards promoting greater inclusive digital finance. No? And I think last year, July 2020, that was at the height or the middle of the pandemic, we launched this Tech, which is the country's first and only Taglish inclusion super app. And after a year of launch, we now have over 4 million mobile app downloads. And we were quite surprised about the warm reception of the public when it comes to this Tech. Because in the matter of 5 months from the time that we launched it, we now have users or subscribers from across 81 provinces in the country. Because we only have 81 provinces in the Philippines, and 8 out of 10 transactions are being done outside Metro Manila, and that 70% of those subscribers would be in the provinces, and around 80% would be millennials. And this would be the profile that you would be that is practically be engaged into digital transactions. And in fact, just recently, we also introduced the country's first Cebuano or Visaya version of this Tech. Because we know that one of the barriers to entry is language, and we want it to be an experience where they could make use of financial transactions. It is as if that the mobile app is just talking to them. So it's conversational. So the thing here is that all of these things are happening within RCBC, and the whole digital transformation that we are embarking on. And at the same time, having to collaborate with all government agents or key government agencies in terms of pursuing our collective goal of promoting digitalization or promoting financial education in the country. I think these are some of the things that RCBC and StarTech have been doing lately, and we are committed in contributing to the goals of the national government through the Bangko Sentral of Filipinas. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Villanueva. Now, we still have Ipsos, we still have GCash and PayMaya. Sirs, what do you do to better serve your customers?
Well, for GCash, as you know, financial services is core, right, to what we do. And in just in the last 2 years, right, we've launched savings in partnership with CIMB. We launched insurance products in partnership with a lot of insurance companies, including friends here today. We've launched investments. We've started with the money market fund. And just this past March, we launched 4 new funds. And in 3 months, we tripled the asset under management, right? With hundreds of thousands of people signing up for this service, like within a month. Really, again, astonishing to see also the reaction, right, to these projects that we've launched recently. When it comes to lending as well, our product G Credit has grown at over 15% month on month. We're launching actually this week cash loans for people to have access to as well, more flexible financing options, longer term financing options as well. We want to launch a lot more products, of course. We are also partnering more and more with our merchants through GLife. We have now over 100 partners on GLife. People can order food, groceries, right? Purchase a lot of different digital services. And this gives a window, right, to our partners to have access to our 44 million users, right? Just right there in the GCash app, right? So that's something also that we believe is really going to accelerate, how we can serve our customers better, more broadly as well. Finally, we always focus on experience, remember, and accessibility and affordability, right? That's also something that we've focused on, especially in the past year during the pandemic. We had to adapt to the now normal, and we had to adapt also to the fact that a lot of more users were adopting the technology. And actually what happened last year is that now it really became, really universal almost, right? So we had to work hard to make sure that customers understand the products, that they don't get lost, on the second step out of 5 steps to do something. We want to make sure that the products are easy to understand as well. So these are like all the improvements that we've made.
Right.
Some of the improvements, I guess, that we made recently.
Thank you, Mr. Tata. Now for PayMaya, Mr. Lazaro.
Yeah, for PayMaya, we're helping drive e-commerce and making people more comfortable. No, with online shopping, we introduced, for example, Maya Mall in our PayMaya app this year. Over 350 merchants inside our consumer app, the most extensive list of any e-wallet today. Just go to the Maya Mall, browse through the list of merchants, then order away. It's more rewarding every day. There are various deals, and it's safer because customers pay cashless and they are insured. These are really legitimate merchants. Now, on the merchant side, we're enabling businesses of all sizes to accept cashless payments, be it credit, debit, prepaid card, and other QRs and e-wallet, not just from PayMaya. We introduced innovations such as the PayMaya One Terminal. That's the first Android device that can accept all types of payments, not just PayMaya. We also have PayMaya Checkout for online businesses. And amid the pandemic, we introduced PayMaya Negosyo for MSME, so they can accept all digital payments and generate their own QR code instantly, which we are going to be launching together with BSP in the coming months. Now, for our agent network, we are now offering Negosyo Advance and InstaCash microloans to our agent branches and our Padala branches. We've employed a double sachet strategy. These MSMEs can get a microloan in minutes, and they pay via micro transactions as well. These are just some examples, and we are constantly finding ways to improve services through innovations. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Lazaro. Now, our next question is interesting as this can be answered by both the private and public sector representatives. Sir, so what continues to hinder full financial inclusion in this country? And what do you think is being done about it?
I think I've
Yeah, sure, Mayor.
alluded to it kanina. Three things. Number one, we don't have a very good database to begin with. So even if you want to get everybody involved or included into the program, we really have to painstakingly do a census, which they're already currently doing with the national ID system. Number two, we have to improve connectivity. Case in point, here in Valenzuela, we have constituents who want to subscribe to who wants to do everything online or who wants to migrate towards the digital platforms available, but sadly connectivity is really bad, so they get so frustrated they might as well do everything online, I mean manual. So there has to be a concrete commitment from our data service providers to shape up, because like I said, you can raise awareness. Problem is, if they get frustrated just by connecting, then there's not much things to talk about anymore. Here in this country kasi, the connectivity issue is more of a barrier rather than an enabler. Slow internet connection, people complaining about them paying for forms if they can't even connect to the very basic concept of connecting online, diba? So those two things, at least from my point of view.
I think that's a classic case now with what's happening with Mayor Rex. Connectivity issue.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So I won't even want to dare repeat it again because I think whichever service provider is I'm using right now is just probably it's just going to fall in deaf ears.
But we actually got the point though.
Actually, parehas naman sila eh. I don't need to disclose it eh.
Yeah.
All of them eh.
Yeah,
Globe, Smart, everybody.
Yeah.
Pare-parehas lang naman.
And we're seeing the sample
Yes.
now.
Thank you, Mayor. Who else would like to add? Based on your experience, sirs, what barriers do we continue to experience in terms of financial inclusion?
In life, in a nutshell, technological issues is number one here problem in the internet connectivity, as what Mayor said, and the cost of being digitally connected, especially since there are many unbanked right now in our industry. Security wise, there are still many Filipinos who do not want to share their sensitive information about themselves to fear of identity theft. And but for InLife, our goal is to be most digital connected life insurance or insurer, so that this comes with the responsibility of putting in place a very secured network. So one is security and second is connectivity.
All right.
Yeah.
Who else would like to add to that, sirs?
Maybe, yeah, I think to complement these answers, I think, but that's something that we know, the government has been very active on, but it's still to this day, kind of like a hindrance to financial inclusion is the lack of proper identifications, right, for users. Though we do recognize, and we've been recently, part of discussions with the different organizations of the government involved in the national ID program, and we were very impressed with the progress that they are making. Though it's still like a multi-year program, but really at GCash we're looking forward to the day where all Filipinos have an ID, because everything else we almost solved for. Like once you're verified on GCash, our eKYC is running smoothly. And then after that, as you know, it's one click to do access everything. One click to start investing, one click to start saving, one click to start insuring yourself, one click to start borrowing. So really for us, once the infrastructure, of course, issues also are addressed, and with a national ID, the financial technologies will be literally unstoppable, right? Like it really broaden our scope and our ability to reach everyone.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Tata. Who else would like to add? Any experience of barriers there that you think we need to address?
Well, I think just to react to what Mayor Rex Gatchalian said a while ago, no? Because I think your question, two things, no? Trust and certainty. That has been these two are critical components in ensuring that we could scale adoption by our consumers of digital platforms. No, why trust? Trust because definitely people or users would need to have that semblance of parang confidence, no, that their hard-earned money will be received by the right recipient or beneficiary or for whatever transaction that we are doing. And in certainty or certitude is making sure that practically, especially in this case, no, like what Mayor Rex said, na the problems in terms of telecommunications infrastructure, na yung dependability of the service, na baka mamaya biglang nag-offline, you're in the middle of a transaction, hindi mo alam kung pumasok ba yung transfer, yung fund transfer mo, yung payment mo, etc. So those things, because if you are to look at the survey results, you will be able to see there that majority of Filipinos would have that still that high level of doubt, no, na ito ba talaga ay yung pera ko ba dito, safe ba dito, hindi ba mawawala yung pera ko dito, or baka mamaya yung pag nagpadala ko ng pera, biglang nawalan ng kuryente o nawalan ng signal, baka mawala yung aking pera. So those would be the questions that that all stakeholders, that all players in the industry would have to deliberately share their insights and really educate the public. So kaya medyo it is not just an overnight development na parang pagising mo umaga 100% of the Filipinos would be adapting to digital. Hindi ganon kabilis, no? Because it is a journey. So it is a talagang mahaba-habang proseso for us to be able to really engage more and more Filipinos in the use of digital platforms. Thank you.
All right. So my next question, aside from connectivity that you already mentioned, the national ID system, cybersecurity, financial literacy, what else is in your wish list for the government to address through concrete policies, for example? How else can the government take part in efforts to further accelerate financial inclusion? Speaking of policies.
If I can jump in, hi.
Sure, sir.
So I think I think the government's policy should be, as you mentioned, make sure that more Filipinos are included in the financial system. I think they're doing well. The next step is making sure that the financial inclusion is meaningful, because I think policymakers around the world, especially in Southeast Asia, are understanding that financial inclusiveness is actually one of the great enablers for a rising middle class. Because many years ago, if you're only doing cash transactions, your opportunities are limited to your walking distance. You can buy and sell and transact only as far as your feet can bring you, right? With digital payments or using different kinds of payments method, your opportunities are not limited to your physical distance, but you can buy and sell and transact, and also avail of opportunities beyond your municipal LGUs or local government regions and so on, right? So I think as if everybody is convinced that financial inclusiveness is a great enabler towards the growing of middle class and so on, then we have to make sure that more and more people are financially inclusive, and also they are not taken back by certain in terms of unscrupulous or unhealthy experiences they will have. For example, we are seeing right now, as I mentioned again, that a lot of people are shying away from digital transactions and going back to cash payments because they got their fingers burned. In terms of the sharing of information or people, they're not being protected well enough. So customer experience is very important. So the role of government and public policymakers is to make sure that it's a level playing field, and making sure that consumers are equally protected in terms of whatever they've been promised by these digital fintech players and so on, and their concerns are taken care of. For example, there's a lot of push now for paying buy now later kind of things, but a lot of new consumers and so on really do not know the pros and cons of, for example, buy now pay later and kind of stuff. So as we go to financial inclusiveness, financial literacy is also very important. I think policymakers have to do many things at one time. So that's my answer.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. And I think Mr. Zaid also has something to add. Mr.
Yeah,
Zaid of
yeah,
Singlife.
in the context of life insurance, what hinders full financial inclusion? I think it's really about doing it. My personal take and the simple challenge, I guess, to the incumbents is it's not really about the technology, what's there or what isn't, that hinders full financial inclusion. I think it's the lack of gung ho attitude to actually do it, to actually make it happen. I think that's what's missing because in terms of the support from our side, the insurance commission, they have been very supportive in making digitalization possible for insurance companies or the insurance industry. So I think, yeah, for companies in the insurance space, it's really just up to us, to make it happen. So I don't think there's a technological roadblock that is prohibiting it from happening. It's just really up to us to actually do it.
Thank you, Mr. Zaid. And Mr. Lito Villanueva of
Yes.
Fintech Alliance, sir.
Yes, yes. Just to add to what to what was already said, no, and in fact to your question as to what role does the government play in financial inclusion. I mean, for the information of everyone, the BSP is leading the Financial Inclusion Steering Committee, which is comprised of more than 30 government agencies that would include the Insurance Commission, the SEC, the various departments, no, under the executive branch. And the whole idea is on how they can come up with initiatives or programs that would really drive, a promotion of financial inclusion through digital platforms. No? And in fact, just recently, about a week ago, we were invited, together with, with GCash, with PayMaya, and the rest of the other players in the industry, to present the milestones that we have thus far done during the pandemic, and how and what, and also identify other gaps that we think would be that should be addressed, not just by the private sector but by the government, especially that, of course, we know that government now really plays a critical role, as what as what Mayor Rex said a while ago, that it really starts with the local government units, in the grassroots reach of how we can really engage more Filipinos in this particular space. No? So that's why I think, to your question as to what role government would still have to do, I think they're doing their best to really make things happen, and we are feeling it right now.
Thank you, Mr. Villanueva. Wow, that was a great sharing of insights. Now, before we end this discussion, we would like to hear our speakers' closing statements or their key takeaways from the session. And I think we can start with Mayor Rex Gatchalian. Sir?
Before I get cut off again, I think the eagerness of everybody, or even the greater marketplace, towards fintech solutions is there. But let me keep on reiterating that it's not just government that has to work doubly hard, because government's eagerness is also there. The enabling laws, the enabling programs are already there, but you can spur excitement all you want, but if the basic infrastructure is not there, it's like corralling a herd of sheep inside a small pen, but it's not conducive to growth or to building on that gain. I think the bottom line here is it's more of a private sector initiative on fixing infrastructure. The data providers have already promised this time immemorial, but it's just getting worse. As more people, in fact, you can see as more people work from home, as more people study from home, the inefficiencies of the private sector, especially the data service providers, are actually showing up. If we can't even deliver on basic connectivity, what more try to excite them with upgraded fintech solutions? So I think more than just pointing our fingers at government, we have to look at the major players when it comes to data connectivity, and they have to really shape up. That's my takeaway from it.
Thank you, Mayor. Now let's have Mr. Lito Villanueva.
Yes. Again, thank you to Business World for inviting me to be part of this very exciting, session. No? I think for my, for my key takeaways, no, kapag maikli ang kumot, matutong bumuluktot. No? This has been a Filipino adage that we grew accustomed to for the longest time. It teaches us the need to live within one's means, to exercise the virtues of pagtitiis, pagtitipid at pagtsatsaga, especially during this pandemic. And kita natin yung pagtsatsaga paid off with the Olympias Olympic gold, no? Recently in the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. So, though these are important positive Filipino virtues, the exercise of such should not be mutually exclusive to any efforts that will help alleviate the financial condition of many Filipinos nationwide. This should never be an excuse for any one of us leading the economic and financial sectors to stop innovating and implementing creative, accessible, and sustainable means to help uplift the lives of our fellow Filipinos and out of the chasm of financial exclusion. We in the digital finance and fintech industry from the Fintech Alliance believe that part of our mission is to accompany our fellow Filipinos in their journey towards financial literacy and inclusion and freedom. Instead of simply being matyaga, we want them to be madiskarte. And this could be achieved if we put our concerted efforts together in pushing for a wider grassroots-based financial education program for the country. If we want to shape the behavior of ordinary Filipinos toward a more positive attitude on digital finance and fintech solutions, which we have started to roll out years ago, then all stakeholders and sectors must work together in implementing a more synergistic and integrated financial education programs. Palawakin ang kumot ng hindi mamaluktot. Maraming salamat at magandang hapon.
Thank you, Mr. Villanueva. Now let's have Mr. JF Dare.
Yes, thank you. Now, very interesting panel today from various industries and public sector. I've learned myself a lot today. Again, I would like to again reiterate, that financial inclusion and meeting the new needs that customers have with the now normal is really a collective effort. We each have an important role to play, right? We all have to focus on building up the infrastructure, yes, giving out national IDs so that people can verify their account and start on their journey, get started on their journey, and platform like GCash to leverage our access to millions of customers and giving that access, sharing that access, right, to that base with as many partners as possible, partners who also will in turn also collect commonly with us, design and build products that are affordable, accessible, understandable, so that people can also get started on their journey. So again, I'd like to thank everybody today, and thank you very much for having me today. Thank you.
All right, now Mr. Rogi Nino.
Okay, for the InLife, we live in our tagline, a lifetime for good. This is one of our InLife core values is actually to see continuous improvement of our processes. It is once again has been in the midst of that pandemic, we've been tested on that one. Our more than 100 years of existence shows that we did not survive any difficulties alone, but we worked together with our partners to answer the immediate needs of our members and our consumers. We are a fan, a believer of financial technology, as it helps to continue to improve our processes to provide convenient and good experiences with our current and future in lifers. Magandang araw and maraming salamat.
Mr. Kiranji Singh.
Hi. First of all, thanks to everyone for today's lively discussion. I think my conclusion is that fintech definitely has a very important role in terms of financial inclusion. Because coming back to many years ago, that a lot of Filipinos didn't want to be banked because they were kind of uh, not comfortable by going to the bank and putting in only 100 pesos or withdrawing only 50 pesos and so on. Because they felt that to be banked you need to have at least a certain amount of money, right? So digital fintech is actually the best leveler in terms of getting many people to be financially inclusive, because it does not matter if you're only transacting 10 pesos or a million pesos for as a digital platform. Every customer is equal. So I think fintech definitely has a role to play, and you're really seeing a lot of strides being in place, but the journey is still far ahead. But I'm optimistic about the targets set by PSP.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. Now, Mr. Mar Lazaro.
All right. Sorry, I was on mute. Thank you so much. Really had I enjoyed this discussion. No, thank you so much, Business World, my co-panelists, of course, and our viewers for this discussion. No. The Philippines has made great strides already, in both the regulatory side and the industry, including, of course, more Filipinos in the formal financial system. It takes a whole nation to accelerate financial inclusion, and I think everyone in this discussion agrees to that. No, today we spotlighted how fintech platforms have been able to fully complement the products and solutions of traditional banks to meet the strong demand of consumers, no, in conducting their financial transactions. Fintechs, PayMaya, for example, are making inroads to last mile communities which traditional financial institutions can leverage on. PayMaya, we are committed to make financial inclusion happen, and we support all efforts towards cash-light economy. We are at the tipping point right now for digital financial services. We are excited about how digital and financial technology is ushering this transformation at all fronts. Now, to summarize my key takeaways, well, first, financial inclusion is happening now. Digital government has actually taken off. No, so similar to the internet adoption in the Philippines, Filipinos are leaping to digital payment mobile first with e-wallets. We are seeing democratization of access to financial payments, especially in the grassroots level. Cashless, number two. Cashless is fast becoming the preferred option. On top of safety, Filipinos are discovering cashless convenience. Consumers are going cashless in all of their in a lot of use cases, daily use cases for that matter. According to the Visa consumer study released last March, 5 in 10 Filipinos now prefer cashless amid the pandemic compared to 3 in 10 prior to the pandemic. 1 in 2 made their first online shopping transaction last year. Big corporates have already gone digital, and MSMEs are quickly following suit. Number 3, digital hubs in the communities take a key role. Beyond remittance, community hubs such as sari-sari stores serve as bridges to the digital world. Soon, they will be digital agents for banks, e-commerce, and so on. And we will see that happening in the next coming months. Government, finally, is the enabling catalyst. So we support measures that will help promote digital payments and accelerate financial inclusion. We are confident that we will be able to widen digital financial inclusion sooner. This is why we have been providing solutions to Filipinos, whether they are consumer, enterprise, they operate online or offline, and even if they are big or small, it's an ecosystem, no? And as mentioned a while back, and I agree with all the panelists here, lahat dapat sama-sama, lahat ito dapat tulong-tulong dahil hindi po magiging successful yung ating ecosystem build if the stakeholders are not helping or supporting each other. So again, thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Mr. Mar Lazaro. Now, Mr. Zaid Tolentino.
Thanks everyone for this meaningful discussion. In Singlife Philippines, what we believe in is that before and beyond these technologies, the key to success is in any initiative is having the right mindset. The first thing that any organization would need to do to achieve digital transformation is to reshape the culture. Before even investing in any new technology, the first step is investing in the right people. Get gung ho people that believes in legit disruptions. Having the right people with you can get you to where you want to go. So let's collaborate more closely to make full financial inclusion possible for Filipinos. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Now, I think let's have a photo with all our speakers. Okay, one, two, three. Thank you very much. Okay, many thanks again to our speakers for sharing your insights. Again, Mayor Rex Gatchalian, Mr. Lito Villanueva, Mr. J.F. Dare, Mr. Roji Nino, Mr. Kiranjit Singh, Mr. Mar Lazaro, Mr. Zaid Tolentino. And much gratitude as well to Tata Consultancy Services, GCash, and Singlife Philippines for making this session possible. And for supporting the Business World Insights, thank you also to Globe, InLife, and PayMaya. To our partner organizations, British Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines, Bank Marketing Association of the Philippines, Management Association of the Philippines, Philippine Association of National Advertisers, Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and to our media partner, the Philippine Star. And of course, to everyone who joined us today. Be sure to tune in to Business World's social media pages to be updated on our next projects. Again, this is RJ, and this has been the Business World Insights. Good afternoon.
deals, brands you love, secure transactions, all in GCash. Your super life app. G-Life mo na yan.
Ow! Well, that sucked. Better be safe than sorry. Now you can get protected from dengue costs. Because with Singlife on GCash, protection is available through your phone. Just open G-Insure and tap cash for dengue costs. Whoa! From small to big dengue costs, we've got you covered. And you even get a free COVID-19 cover. Wow! Whatever your budget is, there's a plan for you, starting at only 300 pesos a year. You can also protect each member of your family. Get comprehensive and affordable protection from dengue costs, all through your phone.
Sa pagpatak ng ulan, sa pagsubok na dumaraan, may tapang kang harap, lilipad kang may pangarap. Lilipad kang may pangarap.
Kailan na'y di mag-iisa, susulong ka ng may kasama, may tapang kang haharap.
Lilipad kang may pangarap. Lilipad kang may pangarap. Simula na ng bukas, ngayon na, simula na ng bukas, ngayon na, simula na ng bukas, ngayon na.
Sabay sa pagbabago,
harapin ang bagong mundo. Simula na ng bukas, simula na ng bukas ngayon.
What if one day you wake up and you have a child? What if your child grows up to be curious? What if he gets adventurous? What if he's a risk taker? What if you are no longer around? Make sure you keep your family protected with Basic Cover Plus. Get up to 2 times your insurance benefits, your premium back, and more. All guaranteed.
Your customers have bills to pay, essentials to buy, and services to hire. Make it secure, reliable, and hassle-free for them with PayMaya. PayMaya's payment solutions have you covered because now you can accept all kinds of cashless payments any way you do business, whether it's in-store, delivery, via mobile app, on your website, or even without a website. Plus, you can monitor your business growth on a single dashboard. You're busy growing your business and serving your customers. Get empowered with payment solutions from PayMaya.
Oh, akala ko mababayaran mo yung Amelia sa City Hall.
Tapos na po.
Eh, yung marriage certificate, birth certificate.
Tapos na po.
Eh, di ba? Mag-a-apply ka pa ng business permit.
Tapos na po. 10 seconds lang po yun.
10 seconds?
May paspas permit sa Valenzuela. Online permit system. Wala nang hintay-hintay.
Eh, yung pinapalaba ko sa'yo.
Hindi pa po tapos.
Dito nagsisimula ang kwento namin. Dito sa malalawak na kalsadang asfaltado, sementado at malinis. Dito sa mga pagawaan at pabrika. Dito sa Valenzuela, kung saan araw-araw marami ang handang magtrabaho. Dito sa Valenzuela, ginagawa ang marami sa inyong mga paboritong produkto mula kutson, tangke ng tubig, tansan, bote, karton at pagkain. Dito, binubuo, hinihinang, hinahalo, hinuhulma ang kinabukasan. Dito sa amin, ang edukasyon ay pinahahalagahan at sinisigurong laging nasa mataas na kalidad. Dito sa Valenzuela, hinuhubog ang kabataan. Dito sa maraming paaralan at simbahan ng Valenzuela. Dito nag-uumpisa ang paggalang sa kapwa, ang pagiging malapit sa Diyos. Dito nag-uumpisa ang husay at kasipagan. Dito nanggagaling ang hindi pagsuko. Dito sa Valenzuela, hindi mga gusaling pang-opisina ang nagtataasan, kundi mga pangarap namin. Dito, hindi napupuyat ang mga tao dahil sa bisyo at pagpapasarap, kundi dahil sa pag-aalay ng galing, talino, puso at kakayahan. Dito sa Valenzuela nangyayari ang disiplina, ang mahusay na pamamahala, at ang katahimikan at kapayapaan ay hindi lang pangarap, kundi nakikita at nararamdaman. Sa aming mga 3S centers, mararanasan ng alaga, bilis at higit sa lahat, serbisyong tapat. Madaling mag-apply at makakuha ng mga permit. Dito, mabilis ang pagproseso ng pagtayo ng inyong negosyo dahil naniniwala kami na ang inyong kabuhayan ay aming kinabukasan. Para sa amin, dignidad ng bawat Valenzuelano ang aming inuuna. Sa mga disiplina village na aming itinayo, hindi lang bahay ang binubuo, kundi buhay. At kahit hindi namin matapatan ang ingay at ganda ng iba't ibang mga lungsod, kami dito sa Valenzuela, nabubuhay sa gawa.